Hello and welcome to this session, and in this session we shall continue our understanding of the different types of pronouns. In this session particularly, our focus shall be on the indefinite pronouns. Well, as the name itself suggests that the pronoun happens to be indefinite. What I mean to say is that the indefinite pronouns happen to be such pronouns which do not refer to any particular person or place or animal or a thing. Rather, the indefinite pronoun happens to be a pronoun that refers to non-specific entities. In fact, they happen to be such pronouns that are used when the identity of the subject is not known or is not important. Well, that way, all of these words of the English vocabulary such as anyone, everyone, someone, no one, anybody, everybody, somebody, nobody, anything, everything, something, nothing. Well, all of these words fall under the category of the indefinite pronouns because they do not refer to any particular person or place or idea in general. So, what really is the use of such pronouns and how really do we use them in our English sentences? Let me explain. Have a look at this sentence. Anyone can apply for the job. Well, this happens to be a valid English sentence, and just in case you have a question at the back of your mind as to who really is the subject of the sentence, then anyone happens to be the subject of the sentence. Well, here the word anyone indicates that the opportunity is open to all the people. There is absolutely no restriction. So that way, anyone in this sentence happens to be the subject, but you can notice that the subject is not specific. It is a non-specific subject, and particularly when the subject is non-specific, that is when we say that it happens to be an indefinite pronoun. Yes, here, anyone happens to be an indefinite pronoun because we are not definite. We are not saying that there is one particular person who can apply for the job. It is open for everyone. In other words, what it means is that it happens to be an indefinite pronoun. Hope I am clear with this. Anyway, let me give you a few more examples to substantiate this for you. Have a look at this sentence. Everyone in the class passed the exam. Well, this also is a valid English sentence, and in this sentence, everyone happens to be the subject. Well, you can notice that it is such a subject that it is non-specific. Well, that way, what this word everyone means is that all the members of the class have passed the exam and that nobody has been left out. In other words, such words in English is what we categorize as indefinite pronouns because here we are not specifying the name of any particular student who has passed the exam. Rather, it is everyone in the class who have passed the exam, and hence such words in English vocabulary is what we refer to as the indefinite pronouns. Anyway, let me give you a few more examples. Even before I give you more examples, I'm sure by now you have already been able to understand that the indefinite pronouns facilitate generalization. They basically allow us to talk about people or things in a general way. No doubt, they also help in simplifying sentences and also enable flexibility in communication without actually naming the exact details. Well, that way, have a look at this sentence. Someone left the door open. Well, in this sentence, obviously, the word someone happens to be the indefinite pronoun because we do not know clearly and definitely about the person who has left the door open. Obviously, here someone happens to be the subject of the sentence, but then it is a non-specific subject because we are not sure about the person who has left the door open, and it is in such circumstances that we tend to make use of indefinite pronouns. Hope it is completely clear. Have a look at this sentence. No one knew the answer to the question. Well, here the word no one happens to be the non-specific subject of the sentence, and it also happens to be the indefinite pronoun because by using the word no one, we mean to say that none of the people present had any knowledge or information to answer the question. In other words, here no one is the indefinite pronoun. So I'm sure that through all of these examples, you have indeed been able to understand that the indefinite pronouns happen to be such pronouns that refer to non-specific entities, and that they are particularly used when the identity of the subject is not known or is not important. Anyway, let me give you a few more examples to substantiate all of this for you. Have a look at these sentences. Anybody can join the book club. Everybody loves a good story. Somebody left their phone on the table. Nobody was at home when I called. Well, all of these sentences happen to be valid English sentences, and in these sentences, the words such as anybody, everybody, somebody, nobody happens to be the subject of the respective sentences. But then you know that they happen to be such subjects that they are non-specific. After all, the word anybody in the first sentence suggests that the book club is open to all the people and that there are no specific qualifications that are required for the membership into the book club. Anyway, in the second sentence, everybody refers to all the people in general, indicating that universally people love good stories. In the next sentence, somebody refers to that unidentified person, suggesting that the owner of the phone is not known. And in the last sentence, the term nobody indicates that no one was at home and that it emphasizes the absence of people. And in all of these cases, you can notice a kind of generalization. Well, that is precisely the reason as to why all of these words in English are not only categorized as non-specific subjects, they are also categorized as indefinite pronoun. Hope I am clear with these set of examples. Finally, have a look at all of these examples. Is there anything I can do to help? Everything was ready for the party. Something is wrong with the car. There is nothing to worry about. Well, all of these sentences happen to be valid English sentences, and I'm sure by now you can identify the words that anything, everything, something, nothing happen to be the non-specific subjects of the respective sentences. But then I'm sure you are also able to understand that in all of these sentences there is a generalization and there is non-specificity. Well, that way these words in English vocabulary is what we categorize as indefinite pronouns, because there is non-specificity and generalization that is associated with these words. So I am sure that in this session you have indeed been able to understand that the indefinite pronouns happen to be such pronouns that refer to non-specific entities and that they are used in English sentences when the identity of the subject is unknown or if the identity of the subject is not important. So I am sure that now you have been able to completely understand the concept of indefinite pronouns, but then there are still quite a few pronouns left over, and if you'll really have to master the remaining few pronouns as well, then all that you need to do is to continue watching this video series. Hope this session was informative. Thanks for watching. Let's meet again in my next session.